Hello again, Ron here. I was reading through some of the prayer needs that came to us recently in the mail, and one man shared about his battle with insomnia, a very common issue for so many. In fact, Statistics Canada indicates an estimated 3.3 million Canadians aged 15 or older, or about 1 in every 7, have problems going to sleep or staying asleep. So that means chances are pretty high that I'm speaking to a lot of people right now dealing with this nagging concern. Another way we at Crossroads know the prevalence of sleeplessness is from the response we get to our middle of the night live open line program, Nightlight, from 2 to 4:30 a.m. every night. If you get CTS, you may have caught the show. We get so many callers from across Canada calling both the program and our 24/7 prayer lines. And we're just so glad we can be there. Not surprising, researchers have found very close ties between insomnia and stress. So what kind of stress are you dealing with that's keeping you up at night? Among the top 10 sources of stress from a survey of adults, there was marriage and family relationships, lack of control, work, lack of joy, and time pressures. From time to time, when there's been stress in my life, I've had a hard time sleeping too. Your mind goes into a rotisserie mode, you might say, and the issue just keeps turning over and over and over, and you're just kind of stewing in those juices. I remember one time a while back, my mind just wouldn't let me go to sleep, though I tried and tried. And of course, the harder you try, the more impossible it is, right? It becomes a vicious cycle. So I got up, sat in the living room, I opened my Bible, and it fell open at one of the Psalms. And when I started reading it, I was amazed at how it spoke directly into the stressful situation I was dealing with. In essence, it concluded that I just need to leave the matter with God and trust Him. And nestled in the middle of that psalm was this encouragement: rest in the Lord and wait patiently for Him. I remember weeping, thanking God for speaking so clearly, going right to bed and sleeping more soundly than I could have imagined. Of course, when you experience something like that, it doesn't mean that your issues all disappear the next morning. The potential is still there for that same issue to trigger further stress and another sleepless night. But now you have God's Word in your heart to fight back. And you can stop and pray those words back to God, thanking Him for His promises and peace. That'll make a huge difference, believe me. Consider another psalm written by King David after he fled for his life from his son Absalom. Talk about a stressful situation. I cried out to the Lord, and He answered me from His holy mountain. I lay down and slept. Yet I woke up in safety, for the Lord was watching over me. I'm not afraid of 10,000 enemies who surround me on every side. That's in Psalm chapter 3. Wow, he went from crying out to God in desperation to sleeping soundly, then to having a new boldness that everything was going to be okay, even though the problem hadn't yet disappeared. What a transformation after he knew he received a word from the Lord. Earlier this year, Ann and I went through some circumstances that caused a whole lot of stress, and we started finding it quite difficult to sleep. That relentless rotisserie doing its thing in our minds. One night I concluded, this has got to stop. So I looked at Ann straight in the eye and asked, is God in control? She answered, yes. Then I replied, then we'll sleep well tonight. And we did. And we said the same thing the next night, and the next night, and the next night. We would take turns asking and answering that question just before turning out the light at night. And we're still doing that to this day. We also started spending more time in God's Word, in the Bible, and especially the Psalms. So if you're one of those 3.3 million Canadians battling insomnia, there's hope. Get a word from God today by spending time in the Bible. Surrender that stressful situation to Him in prayer, and then rest in that assurance that God is in control. Remember, you can call our prayer line anytime, even in those sleepless hours in the middle of the night. It would be our privilege to pray with you about the challenges that you're facing today. Whether it's a sleep issue or any other prayer need, you can call us toll-free anywhere in Canada or the U.S. at 1-866-273-4444. Our prayer partners are standing by and they're ready to take your call and pray for you. So let me throw in one final promise for you from the Psalms. Here it is, simply, He gives His beloved sleep. Beloved, that's you. So let's keep in touch.
Now there are even more ways to join the 100 Huntley Street online community. We'd love to hear from you, so stay in touch with us.